Hello, Commanders. Commander Fu here, bringing you another edition of Battle Warship Naval Empire Training Academy. Today, I'd like to talk to the free players, the people who aren't putting a lot of money. About the most they're doing every month is the Battle Pass. This is not a bad thing. Actually, I would encourage most people to. It's actually more of a challenge and probably a little more fun than going and buying everything, and then at the end of the month you're like, oh, where'd all this money go? So some of the things to be aware of: events. Your best friend as a free player are the events, because the events are what get you the crystals. The crystals are what are going to get you to the parts that you need, the materials you need for the upgrades. Some other little tips for younger players. One of the best places to hide uranium, to keep it out of the hands of your enemies who are going to come and try and take it from you, because, well, they bought a lot of really good shit and they want to go ahead and get ahead of everybody, and they want to be better than you, and but they need to take a lot of stuff from people. One of the best places to hide uranium, well, first off, if you go every day pretty consistently into the store, you'll see that you get a free reset, and whenever you get resets, use them up, and you're going to find that you can put items back into the resource items. So here we go. I'm going to take and transition some into that. Alright, now when you can, you want to absolutely hold on to your resources, all of the items, because this is an emergency fund if you need it. Now, it's very difficult to change uranium into something that you can actually store it. Other than, one good place is actually your aircraft factory. You're going to find that obviously the game is going to give you aircraft that you don't want, don't need, really not going to give you much value. But they're great for putting a lot of uranium into. Okay, because if you look, okay, it takes 2,300 to upgrade to the next level. But when you go to disassemble, this thing's got uranium stored in it. Granted, you're not going to get back out exactly what you put into it, because it does take a lot to get these there, but this is a good place. And until you figure out which aircraft you like and you don't like, maybe it's not bad to build some of these, but it's one place that you can put uranium that it can't be taken from you, and you can still get some back out of it. Alright. Another thing that I will highly suggest to free players: learn your timetable. Okay, so when you get to a point where you're hitting higher pirates, you can set up the bigger rallies or jump in on rallies. And one trick I like to use, by knowing when all of the events are, we go into the timetables. By knowing when all of your events are, you can actually play more of your events. Obviously, Pirate Terminator is a great event to normally, be in the habit of getting into. Upgrading your psionic zone. Electricity hoarder. If you can set this up, usually here it says 0500 UTC. You can set up to at 0501 or even earlier if you need to. But send out your carriers for this event to pull in a level 5 or level 6 if you can pull a full level 6, so that at the hour, if you've got 5 carriers out and you pull 1 level 5s, then that gives you enough for the higher levels where you can actually get the top rewards, the top tiers. So electricity hoarder, oil hoarder. It's always good to play the events, because that also plays into the other place that I like to discuss, and that is the event rewards. Okay, generally, if you see people that are really, really heavy here in the event rewards, and you also see people that are very high in the ships killed, warships destroyed, those are usually the people that are probably nasty. And if you've got somebody with 15 million power and 100,000 warships destroyed, I'm just going to say don't mess with that player. They've been playing this game. They understand. Now, as a free player, they give you carriers. Watch the carriers that they give you that you cannot dismantle. Okay? Take your carriers and build free carriers. And in doing so, you can build it and then later you can chop it. What I suggest is if you're going to do that approach, keep your power under 15 million or even if possible under 10 million, because that's going to allow your rewards, your events to give you the lower reward requirements. Okay, because if you go over, then you start having to get more for the events, like wartime. It's much higher when you're above 15 million than just the 5,000 or 5 million that you need to get to 2,400. I mean, this is 3,600 for this event. I haven't really been on and played this, so I'm not going to have those points. But in doing this, by keeping your power low, you can get all the rewards, build your crystals, build your stash of experience points. Okay, if you can consistently build a carrier, chop it, take the experience pods or whatever you want to call them, the items, and hoard them. Because if you hoard them when you really get a good carrier that you really want to build, then you can actually take that and just drop a ton of experience points on it, and all of a sudden, poof, it goes way up quick. Okay. Now on this account, this is an account that I had walked away from, and I had 840 of the stamina. Stamina is your friend. Eventually, when you're running a lot of pirates, you're going to find it's difficult to keep stamina on hand. When you're running like level 25s on the command agents and just bashing on 25s consistently, you're going to find that your points are going to go up, your ships destroyed points are going to go up, your carrier levels are going to go up, and this is how people get to the higher level 70 pirates or warship or carrier levels, because they're consistently hitting pirates. But again, if you're managing your free play, don't get a lot of carriers, and as I said, watch the carriers that you get. Because the problem you run into is, like on this account, I have a couple of carriers that you just can't disassemble. And this thing is level 55. So, at this point, I have to build this thing because I'm not going to be able to chop anything else. I mean, I've got a Lincoln in here that I came across, and I've got a level 61 GA3. Now, if you're fairly new in the game, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the biggest tricks that I can give you is not to evolve a carrier like the Golden America. Do not add stars. If you can take this thing as a 3-star carrier, which is what the Mark 1 is, build it up to a level 70, 80, 90, whatever, and get that thing to red class before you evolve it, you're going to find that it is much easier to evolve. My other server, I have a Mark 1 level 71, and it's not many more. The experience points required to level that thing are not much higher than the level 61 gold Mark 3 on this server. So do yourself a favor, level it, class it. The class materials are much cheaper as a 3-star than they are as a 5-star or 6-star. Okay, so That's some of the suggestions I have for you as a free player. Play your events, play lots of events. Use this time to build equipment. Equipment is your friend. If you can get yourself into a position where you have level 4 +2 gold on the R77, get a couple of those. You don't have to take them 5, but it's obviously better. But if you take it to a 5, you need to make it a 5 +2. And the way you can tell what it's going to be and what it's going to give you as far as the stats, you can go in at the bottom of the equipment area. Here's the handbook. Go into the handbook, and we'll say for the Skyfire, a +2 purple will give you an overall attack of 57. That's fantastic. But there are other pieces of equipment that you may want instead. What is this guy? All right, super anti-aircraft missile. This thing is great. All right, it gives you the overall attack like the Skyfire, but it also gives you blockade to aircraft. Okay, so just work with what you get, work with what you can, and then build it up, keep your power down, hit pirates like mad. Anything and everything you can do to hit pirates, do it, and just keep playing it. The higher level pirates will come as your aircraft get higher levels. So you need to figure out what 3 to 6 aircraft you want to really build, and build them up. Make them up get them as high as you can, and then you're going to be able to hit higher level pirates. So for today, I think that's quite a bit to digest. I was just on a bit of a tirade on wanting to put some information out for free players. But the events every day in your command center, every day you have the opportunity to get 627 points, and then you can open up all these chests. The trick is to open those chests daily, because you get a lot of rewards. I mean, right now they have the event for the balloons, the 4th anniversary, and they got the balloons. You get those in the 180 and the 400 chest. You start getting into decent rewards at the 560. The entrusted agents, the command agents, those are a godsend when you start getting to the higher level. If you can, save those for when you can actually run 25s consistently, a level 25 pirate, because that is going to really boost your carrier levels and get you to a point where you want to be. You have to figure it's a long game if you're going to play free. But if you build your equipment, keep your power low, play all of the events, and keep your power low. And there are tricks to keeping your power low. You can break carriers, keep minimal carriers. You want to build your gathering fleet. You want to have gathering fleets that can completely drain tiles without having ships on them. And also, just a quick aside, you also want to be aware of what your gathering rate is. Like this one, the occupy rate is 46 tons. He is a slow gatherer. Okay, now we go down to what I have here, and this guy's 81 tons. He's not a bad gatherer. Okay, so this number, the occupy rate, will tell you what is and is not better to gather with, but also want to make sure your load, if you can, like I said, build these to the point where you can send them out in wartime and they're not going to hit it because it doesn't have any ships on it. It's just a better way to play. It'll keep you safer and minimize your fleets, and that's a lot of what free players need to do, is just be smart about how you play. Don't give up everything to everybody else, and just sit back and build, and know that as your equipment builds stronger, then you can You can hit higher things, you can hit harder, and eventually you'll be one of those players that they really don't want to mess with, just because they know there's something there. So everybody have a good day. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. And I'm working on trying to bring more content. So everybody have a great day. Thank you.